complain about the relationships they're either in or that they're not in. When you haven't got someone in your life, you're often complaining that you haven't got that somebody special, and you'd really like that someone special in your life. So I know a lot of you can relate to that. And then I look at other people who are in a relationship, and then they're still complaining that they're not with Mr. or Mrs. Right in their eyes, that they're always finding something wrong with the relationship or wrong with the other person, or dissatisfied in some way. So here's my suggestion, is that we become Mrs. Right for somebody else. Don't search for somebody that is Mr. or Mrs. Right. So do you get the difference? For me, it's about being the most complete and the most whole and the most fantastic person I can be, being myself and being my best self, and bringing that into a relationship with whoever I meet, whether that's platonic or whether that's in a relationship, is to bring the Mrs. Right with me. And it's about being really non-urgent and non-needy. You know, I've learned over the last numbers of years to really just be still and content with who I am, and not to be any different to who I am in order to attract someone into my life. You know, that's sometimes difficult because it can get lonely, of course, and you know, it can be a little frustrating, and it can be a little bit niggly when I want to go out with people and not go out necessarily on my own. But I've come to a real contentment about actually being on my own and being the best I can be, knowing that when I am Mrs. Right, and I am that at this moment of time, that I'm content with who I am in my fullness and my wholeness, that I will attract the other person into my life. If you're in a relationship and you're always judging or complaining about your partner, how about bringing that back to yourself and going, am I being the best person I can be in this relationship? Because there's always an ongoing effect, you know, there's this dual effect on each other. So I suggest, rather than bitching and moaning and whinging, my BMW, I call it, and judging and complaining about the other person, start looking at yourself and looking at yourself in your own mirror, rather than projecting it onto somebody else and saying, hey, how am I being in this situation with this person? How can I change things in order for that relationship to be better, rather than asking someone else? So stop the judging and the blaming and the complaining, and start focusing back on you and being the best you and the best person you can be, and the best full and content and wholesome person that you can be, and to be really content with who you are, confident in who you are, and really willing just to gift that to someone without being somebody else. Just do what you wanna do.